Today, I would like to speak a little bit about what I do and to present our experience with agile transformation and show some typical situation that happens on the projects that we do. And I labeled my presentation 5 million euro. Is it a big money or just a little small change? And I expect this is a question. So in the end of my presentation, I hope you will be able to answer to me my question. Before I start, a little bit about myself. I managed the technology companies for about 20 years, and in 2007 I ran the first project in Scrum in Czech Republic. This gave me the title very first Scrum Master. Starting from that time, I started to build up a community in Czech and Slovakia. Together with my colleague, we start to do trainings in Czech, Slovakia, Hungary. We organize a couple of conferences. And personally, as a trainer, I trained up to date maybe 1,000 people for mostly Scrum, but other related technique. There is a couple of customers of ours, and what I personally technically do with companies is helping them to improve business performance. If I speak about agile transformations, I would like to mention our 4-layer transformation framework. This is some tool that we use and we still build on. I will not mention today how it works, but only one part that to me is very important is a section of motivation. This is practically enough if I speak about transitions, but I learned on several projects that we have to expand activity across various fields. And this framework gives us possibility to have a predictable outcome and to have also ability to replicate the approach to different type of customers. We are able to say what will happen after something, so it's quite handy tool. Today I will speak about one of our customers. It was not a true agile transformation, but this is a typical case that we normally face too. This organization is based in Czech Republic. It has about 500 people, and they are doing the custom data processing. Custom data processing is partly manual, partly automated activity. They have their own branches in Europe, in Asia, in America, and turnover maybe $80 million, and they would like to achieve 100 million. And what is special for them is they are developing their own software tool for project management. And this is the moment when they usually call us, because if they develop software, they have problem with software development team. Historically, the company believes they are very special. They have very unique process. That's why they are not able to choose any one of more than 100 project management tools currently available on the market. And they started to develop their own tool. They of course failed. And then they start again, develop the same tool again. After some development, they usually approach us and they tell us, we are using Scrum and we would like to have some Scrum training. We came and we learned that they are using Scrum for 1 year and they would like to do training. We delivered training. It was very beautiful. It was full of aha moments. And to me, this is a situation that I see with really many companies. Anytime they start to do something, they start by themselves, they burn a lot of money into the project, and after this, they invite somebody who understands the matter and start working with him as expert. So also interesting part is the company's first jump to the methodology. We never learned why they chosen particularly Scrum, but it was given. Maybe for popularity, everybody these days jumps on Scrum. Then several months came, and after several months they called us again. And this time they said, well, training was cool, many things improved, but we still have problem with development team. And this is the moment when I convinced them, stop, hold for a moment. We should not continue in advising the team. We should do some little assessment to understand what you are doing, how you do, and after this we will be able to provide you much more professional advice. And in this little assessment, we discovered that the requirement is completely different than promoted. They don't need to improve performance of the team. They are working on the software tool for more than 1 year, and suddenly the top management see that nothing has been delivered so far, and they are seriously considering to cancel the project. So the requirement from us is help us to do something that will prevent canceling the project. The company, in its history, they grew organically. They created more than 20 departments to process data, and very much interesting was that each department built its own technique how to process data independently from each other. So they were learning the same thing more than 20 times. As you guess, it's enormous waste, and in this situation, company is already used for large wastes. So we start to work with them, and we find out that maybe 40 users currently is using the software tool. They have requirements. The requirements fall into one big pile, and who is screaming the most typically gets priority. So typical request is, we want to change some color. They change it. In another department, they start screaming, the color is not good. Please change it to another one. In this situation, I usually go deeper. We try to understand the value chain. We try to understand how the processes looks like. We try to understand how the job is exactly done in the organization. And we find out that the company wants to cover with software product the complete value chain. But we find out also that if we would address just the 2 components of value chain, we would achieve the biggest return of investment. And this is significantly reducing the size of the problem that we have to face to. Also, we find out that in spite of belief that each department is different, 95% of activities they carry are identical. And this is important for software development because this is the moment when on every agile transformation you reach the point of choice. And you typically have 2 choices. Either we will continue with the easy part, playing with teams, implementing Scrum, helping them to fine-tune some little changes, being more happy, and so on. Or we will go to deeper part. And in this situation, it means reduction number of departments. And in the same moment, we can create about 100, 150 people redundant in the organization. If I mentioned in the beginning, the organization has 500 people, 150 down is significant saving, and the saving can be expressed about 4 to 5 million euro per year. It's a huge amount of money. What I see in agile transformations when I work with other trainers and coaches, vast majority go easy track. The reason for this is if you do it correctly, you can make more money. This track you need far less knowledge if you want to continue this way. For the other part, suddenly the expectation change. Your customer in the organization is suddenly CEO or members of the board. And there is really very few agile coaches or trainers in the community that I know that are able to talk to top management and the board level and to present them advantages and the problems. Because we were hired just randomly for particular item once per couple of months, so we decided to go both direction, working with the team in the first step and working with the top management in the second. Usually it is working for us with product owner who should be in organization, especially if you build the product for your internal use, he should be empowered enough to do even a strategic decisions about organization or have the direct access to the board, which is very rarely the case. When we start Easy Track, we took the pile of which we could product backlog pile, and we start to set up certain metrics to be able to prioritize the backlog. And because I said expectation is now not to cancel the project. So we have 40 users, and we decided that the more users will use the software, more difficult will be cancel the project. That's why our metric is how many particular feature, how many new users we will acquire. The second metric is how much money we can make with particular feature, either through saving time on data processing or reduction the number of people that are working with us on the processing. Based on this, we prioritized the backlog, and we suddenly had, for the first time, some real scenario that we can bring to the development team. At this stage, we can start working with development team. You can use the technique as was presented today in several presentations. For us, it is starting with Scrum Master and Product Owner as first, and later on, we start working with people that are assigned to the team. Usually, we discover that we do not have the team. We have just bunch of individuals which we have to work with. Sometimes it means change some people in the team because they are not able of teamwork typically. So in this situation, we had to replace a couple of people, hire a new one, build up a team, start rolling. And after this, in every iteration, we were able to acquire couple of new users. Later on, again randomly, we were working on further improvement of the team, and anytime they invited us, we started playing with team performance in this level. So there are some results out of it. After 5 months of building of changes in the process, we acquired 600 users. At that moment, it was next to impossible to cancel the project by top management. As a side effect, we delivered the team. That organization saw that they are really delivering, and they start to trust the team. And when they really got the software that people start like to using. This was quite success in the part of track 1. But we have also experience from the track 2. In the moment when we discovered that we are able to reduce number of departments and to make a couple of people redundant, the top management responsible for operation immediately struck back. And the relations with them got frozen to the point of 0. And we were never able to achieve the speaking with board and top management because they really built up everything possible to prevent us doing so. And in this situation, we were never able, or the organization was never able to recollect these 5 million euro from possible changes. And my experience from this example that is quite common, that we face almost every transformation. There are different expectations and different goals that are expected from consultants. We also see that if there is a problem in organization and some serious decisions have to be taken, usually people look on this situation like, is there anything that treats me or I can safely go forward? And usually they prefer not to lose their job, so they start looking on safe way. The consultants usually do not help you with this either, because their financial model is usually built on how many consulting hours they sell. So they have to be good with everybody and avoid hard decisions. So, and this is the practically end of my presentation, but now is the question for you. Is this 5 million euro, it's quite a lot of money, enough to trigger the organization to do some radical changes about it? Or it's just a little money that lives on the street and we don't need to care and worry about? What about people being fired? That's a good question. Usually I mentioned, or maybe I show such a small factory in my presentation, and this relates to the theory of constraint by Eliyahu Goldratt. And it says that anytime you do a change in organization, you have to address particular bottleneck. And if you just play cosmetically, you will never address this particular bottleneck and nothing will happen. You will create the cost, but you will never create revenue. So if you are able to transfer the people to some other places in the organization, technically you can relieve some bottleneck somewhere, but not so many. You really have to think about, let them go to the market. There are other companies that can use these people. More questions? If not, thank you very much.